What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. A big thanks to the guys at Back of the Nest for having us on the channel today ahead of the big game back in the Premier League this weekend at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Crystal Palace. Now let's get into the questions. It's been a slow start to the season, getting 5 points from 4 games. What is your feeling going into the game?
Yeah, look, I think it's not a great start to the season from Tottenham. There was so much uncertainty going around the club in pre-season, and it led to a few sloppy performances at the start of the season. And by Pochettino's own admission, it was one of the most unsettled squads they'd had since he'd come to Tottenham. So it's no surprise really that the performances might not have been up to scratch. Having said that, we have had 2 decent performances, results away from home. Results against Arsenal and City away from home, which is a positive start. But I think the loss to Newcastle was a major blow for us.
Yeah, I think in terms of points, I think it's been a bit of a slow start to the season. Obviously, we've only won 1 game so far, haven't we?
Yeah, 4, yeah.
Which was the opening game of the season against Aston Villa, newly promoted side. Obviously, the Newcastle game was really hard to take because you're expecting 3 points from a game like that. But yeah, like my brother said, I think taking 2 points, one at the Emirates and one at the Etihad, leaves us in good stead for the season. And if we can kind of kickstart our season now with hopefully a win against you, and we've got a run of like 5 or 6 winnable games now. So if we can kick on from now and get the points under the bag in these next 5 games, and I think it's been a good start to the season.
And in classic Spurs fashion, the 4 players we signed this summer, 3 are injured and 1's out on loan. So it hasn't been great from that point of view.
We waited so long to sign someone, now they're all bloody injured.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we're expecting Ndombele to be fit for this game, which would be fantastic. But obviously Lo Celso is going to be out to the end of October. Sessegnon also probably going to be out for this game as well. So that's a bit of a shame in that sense. But I think we're still, I think, optimistic for the season and for the game going forward.
Yeah, we just need to get our players back, so that could even take a little while. But we got Ryan Sessegnon coming back this weekend apparently as well. So let's hope he can cause you guys a bit of damage.
Yeah.
Moving on next, how do you think Palace should approach this game?
I think there's only one way Palace should really approach this game. That's put 11 men behind the ball and hit us on the break, because that's how kind of Newcastle had a lot of success there, and a lot of teams in the past year or so, past couple of years, have had a lot of success having that kind of approach. And you know what? You got to give it to Crystal Palace. They had the 6th best away form last season, and they're the last team to win at Man City. They're the last team to win at Liverpool. They're the last team to win at Arsenal. They're the last team to win at Man United. And so they have an absolutely phenomenal away record. So how you set up is how you just got to approach every time you go away at the Big Six, because clearly that's an approach that's working for you guys. And you just have Zaha, have Jordan Ayew, and Josh Townsend willing to hit us on the break when we make a mistake. And I think you should have some joy.
Yeah, I think, like my brother said, you always kind of set up in the right way when you go away to the Big Six. Like you said, all those results you've had. But, all you have to do is cast your mind back to the first game at the new stadium last season. You frustrated us so much. We only got that winner or those goals at the end of the game. And I think it'll just be more of the same this weekend. You're going to set up very defensively. You won't leave us much space. And that really frustrates us. All you have to do is look at the Newcastle game, how they set up. And I think it'll be a very similar game. And if we don't score early, you could be in for something this weekend.
And you look back all the Tottenham games against Palace over the past few seasons, always a close game. I don't think we've beaten you, except for last season we beat you 2-0. It's always
that was a tight game.
And even that was a tight game. It's always 1-0 or 0-0 or really tight. So I'm not expecting a free-flowing, loads of chances for Tottenham. I'm expecting a tight game. I'm expecting you to frustrate us and, to crowd Harry Kane out the game and not give Son any space in behind. And I feel like if we defend right, if we don't give you chances on the break, and we limit those chances and put enough pressure on your back 4, then hopefully the pressure will tell and we'll get that winning goal. We'll through a bit of magic from somewhere. But I think Palace know how to set up a team defensively, and they know how to go away to a Big Six team and get results. So I'm not that confident that we're going to 100% be an easy win.
Yeah, all you have to do is look at the last Palace Spurs games. We've beaten them 1-0, I think, four out of the last 5 or 6 times. And most of those times was like a stunning goal in the last 10 minutes or so. So I'm not taking anything for granted this weekend. And you've got like he said, Wilf Zaha and Andros Townsend, and Andros Townsend would absolutely love to score a winner against Tottenham, wouldn't he? So
Exactly.
yeah, moving on. What do you think of Roy Hodgson as a manager?
Roy Hodgson, I like him as a manager. I think not in terms of I wouldn't want him as Spurs personally. I think he's kind of maybe he's getting on a bit. He might be his style of play might be getting a bit outdated, but you got to give him credit. He's still getting results. At Palace, he came in after four consecutive losses at the start of the season, and he stayed up in the Premier League. So that's a great achievement for him. He's done pretty well wherever he's been, apart from maybe Liverpool. And maybe England as well. He'll always be the manager who took the England job away from Harry Redknapp. I think at that time it was made for Harry Redknapp, and he really should have given it to him. And unfortunately, we gave it to Roy, and it didn't quite work out. Putting Harry Kane on corners. What are you doing, Roy? Come on, man! You should never be
Best
doing
crosser
that.
in the squad.
That was probably his biggest mistake. That might have cost him the job. So look, he's had a mixed career. I think most of it has been he's been a fantastic manager, but unfortunately for him, whenever he's kind of had a massive job with England or Liverpool and really had to step up, it just hasn't worked out for him, and he hasn't been able to make that step up. But whenever he's given a Fulham, a West Brom, Crystal Palace, he always does a really admirable job, and that's how he got the big jobs in the first place.
Yeah, I think he done a decent job at West Brom, and I think he got Fulham back into Europa League at some stage.
Got to the final, mate.
Gone to the final, exactly. So there's obviously a good manager in there. I think he took a bit of a knock when he went to England, didn't go to plan, and now at Palace, I think he's done an admirable job. Went at big results at Man City, at Chelsea. I think every time we play you, like I mentioned before in the video, you give us a good game. I would just like to see him backed a bit more from Crystal Palace, because I think he's done such a great job with such limited funds, and if he was backed a bit more, I think he could do an even better job. So
and we talk a lot of this channel about Pochettino having to manage with two hands tied behind his back compared to the rest of the top six, but bloody hell, Hodgson has
arms and legs.
The arms and legs as well. He's hog-tied probably.
Yeah.
Management style. He has no funds whatsoever. His best player wants to leave, but he always seems to be able to dig out results. You replace Wan-Bissaka with Joel Ward, put him back in the team, and it's made no effect. You've made a great start to the season, and you've got to give Roy Hodgson all the credit in that sense. But it's kind of always with Roy Hodgson is like, how long is this form going to last? It's always kind of gets himself in a situation where you have to kind of get out of the relegation fight, and then he somehow gets out of it.
Yeah,
so
he gets out of it.
He does get out of it, which is credit to him, but he always gets in there as well.
But to push on more, they're going to need the money. Otherwise, they're just going to keep trying to battle relegation.
And I think this is probably going to be Hodgson. I feel like this might be Hodgson's last big club. I think, given his age and given how long he's been in the game. But I think he's been a great manager overall, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for how he's managed at Crystal Palace for sure.
All right. Apart from Kane, who should Palace look out for?
Come on, you're not Pep Guardiola. We're not the Harry Kane team here. We've got so many quality players going forward. I think we've got an abundance of attacking midfielders. We've got Heung-min Son, obviously, who loves a goal against Palace. We have Christian Eriksen, who's back in the team.
Who also loves a goal against Palace.
Correct. He also scored last time. Dele Alli, Lucas Moura, Lamella's been contributing at the beginning of the season. Hopefully Ndombele comes back and he can control the midfield. And also we've got two of the Belgian centre-backs in Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen, who, who's going to be a real tough afternoon for Benteke or Ayew, whoever you have up front. So, there's so many players to watch out for in that Tottenham team. I think where Palace might get joys on the fullback areas, which, with Zaha and Townsend, with that pace on the break, maybe you could catch us out if we're caught too far forward at times.
Yeah,
but
because it remains to be seen who's going to start right back for us and who's probably going to start left back for us as well with it. So,
yeah, but obviously I think apart from Kane, you'd have to say our biggest attacking threat will be Heung-min Son. And you saw against, countless times against Man City, against Arsenal, even last weekend, you give him a bit of space, he can punish you. He's got that quality, whether outside the box or running towards you, and he's so direct. So, it's not just Harry Kane in our team to look out for.
Yeah, 100%. I think the way Palace are going to set up, I don't think they will leave us too much space in behind. So I think the real danger man you're going to have to look out for is Lucas Moura, because he's the one who can, pick the ball up from deep and run past a few players, not needing too much space to kind of look for, whereas Heung-min Son kind of looks for that gap in behind. That's why he was kind of so effective against Arsenal, because they were leaving so much space in behind. But another man who you're going to have to look out for is Christian Eriksen, because he's that man who can really pick that lock.
Yeah.
I think when he's on Song, then our whole attacking kind of formation is on Song. So for me, apart from Harry Kane, Lucas Moura and Christian Eriksen are the two main guys you have to look out for this weekend.
If you stop Eriksen, you're going to go a long way to stopping Tottenham this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. And finally, score predictions.
1-0. I think the past few times it's been very close. I'm expecting another close game. I think Palace know how to defend away at big teams. I think they've really mastered the art of getting results away at big clubs. They've done it so many times. So hopefully we can kind of be on point defensively and not give you enough chances. Hopefully we can silence Zaha, who's obviously your main threat, and have a bit of magic going forward and have that one moment where we can put the ball in the back of the net. If we get an early goal, I think things change a lot. But if we don't get that early goal, I'm expecting a 1-0 win.
Yeah, we've got a kind of knack in these games to not get the early goal, go into half-time 1-0 down or 0-0. And I think if that does happen, we could be in for a frustrating afternoon. Like my brother said, if we get that early goal, I think we will go on to win comfortably. But if history is anything to go by at this Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I don't think we will get that early goal, and I think it will be 1-0 to Spurs with a Christian Eriksen wonder goal again.
Hopefully Eriksen can hit it in the back of the nest.
All right, so there you have it. Go check out our channel, We Are Tottenham TV, where there'll be a corresponding interview with Back of the Nest. Like, subscribe and comment below, and as always, come on Spurs!